I got called skeleton, mifupa, bones. So it made me feel bad about myself. You remember the incident of Kanzedena, right?
Yes.
You can imagine what that did to her. An entire nation coming at her, telling her she does not look good because she did the most natural thing.
Giving back. Yeah. Hello there and welcome to yet another episode of Kaleke's Health Moments, where as always we aim to live healthy, one story at a time. Our guest today is going to share her painful experience with body shaming. Welcome to the channel. You can please introduce yourself.
Okay. Thank you, Kaleche, for having me on your show. My name is Jayalo from Mombasa County. I'm a graduate from Maseno University, where I was pursuing a bachelor's degree in psychology with IT. I'm also the founder and executive director of Jasiri organization. I'm also the national director and coordinator of the Perfect Body campaign. And I'm a practicing psychologist. Okay,
thank you very much. So Ashley, please tell us, what is body shaming?
So body shaming basically means somebody getting humiliated or mocked because of their body size or shape. And body shaming in different communities or societies means a different thing, because we have fat shaming and skinny shaming. So in the Kenyan context, the most prevalent one that I've been able to encounter has to be let me just say it depends where you come from. So you can get people who are being fat shamed, where you're being shamed because you have a plus size body, or for some who are getting body shamed because they are skinny.
In your own personal experience, have you ever been body shamed?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
I have a very close and personal situation. It all started when I was a child. When you live in a society where everyone is average, we have a standard that we have been set. You have to look a certain way, and I didn't meet that. I had this boyish look, so I used to be called a tomboy. I didn't fit in, basically. So right from primary school, I used to be body shamed because of my bony structure, and in high school, I went through the same thing until at a certain point I just felt like I need to fit in, so I started eating a lot and I gained a lot of weight. Then after high school I lost weight because of the pressure of waiting for KCSE results. You know, it comes with a lot of pressure for the candidates. So I lost weight and I never seemed to be able to recover the ideal body that people have been expecting me to have. And it has been a journey, being in a position where I tell myself, Ashley, look at yourself. This is the body that you have. You have to get comfortable.
Perhaps you can say some particular words people used to body shame you, and whether close, like relatives, did it. Because normally, most of the times, we tend to hear that it's strangers.
Actually, I feel body shaming hits close to your heart, or it hits close to home when it's actually from your own family. So my family, I feel in a way, were part of the body shaming situations that I got myself into. I got called skeleton, mifupa, bones. So it made me feel bad about myself, because for a very long time I've been skinny and I haven't been able to gain weight. And apparently for my family that was an issue. But nowadays I tend to have accepted myself, and when anyone comes and attacks me concerning my body shape, I just tell them no, I'm very comfortable, and do not try and impose your standards on me, because this is my standard of perfection.
In this age of technology, have you ever experienced online body shaming?
Yes, Kaleche, I've actually had encounters with cyberbullying, because I also happen to be a model, and in the modeling industry we tend to do shoots that portray your silhouette, because when you're getting scouted out there, people want to see what exactly they're working with. So I've had encounters where people call me skinny or skeletons, or I need to put on more weight, and it really affected me. So I feel like social media, as much as IT has had a really big input in our lives, it's still people are using it to hurt other people.
What effect did body shaming have on you?
Okay, so the experience being body shamed had a really big effect on how I saw myself as a woman, because as I was getting to realize my feminine power, I looked at myself and I didn't look like every other woman who's out there who has curves, has big breasts and all that. So I felt kind of underwhelmed or overwhelmed with how I looked, because I was expecting to look like other women, and it affected my self-esteem at a very huge level. You'd find me at times buying clothes for bigger women, like a size bigger than what I am, expecting that with time I'd grow into them, but that never happened. So it affected my self-esteem and my sense of self-worth and self-image, essentially.
I've ever had friends asking me what foods can I eat to add, avocados, blah, blah, blah. Did you ever go into any of that?
Yes, at some point, like I told you, while I was in high school, I resorted to that. So I started eating a lot. Anything that is edible essentially could be eaten. So I gained a lot of weight. At some point, I was 62 kilograms, and right now I'm 49 kilograms. So you can imagine how big I was. It was. So I looked at myself and I was like, wow, I look like everyone else. I look like my peers. So I started eating githeri, avocado. You understand, Ile, while you're young.
What don't you like people calling you or addressing you by?
So I don't like when somebody calls me a skinny, or any word that is meant to target me as a slender woman. I usually prefer slender compared to skinny, because it makes me feel I don't know the word for that, but it doesn't make me feel empowered. It feels like you're trying to put me in a cage and define me by one word, which is not me. And if you live in this the locality, when you walk around like a boda park, for a woman like me, you'd actually get called names like wewe nini kakonde kuja hapa, and I'm like, honestly, I'm a woman. I need to be addressed with the decorum that I should be entitled with. If you want to know my name, ask me my name, but don't call me using what you think I want to be called. No woman appreciates being called that.
Okay. Out of your experience with the body shaming, what did you do about it?
So, the funny thing about the most interesting thing about being a human being, we tend to make lemonades out of lemon. So I turned a very bad situation into something positive. And that inspired the Perfect Body campaign that I ran earlier this year, and it was featured on Campus Vibe, the newspaper section. The Perfect Body campaign essentially aimed to provide women with a platform where they can feel safe, feel valued, and they can also express themselves, their experiences with body shaming, and network with women who have been in the similar positions that they are, and changing the narrative. Like, you've been body shamed. What do you want to tell the world? How do you want people to read your story? You don't want people to see you through their lenses. You're giving them your reality. So like, we had plus size women, we had petite women, what people call skinny. We had women with albinism, women with disability, and dark-skinned women. And they were going out there telling the world that this is my truth. I am plus size, I am petite, I am dark-skinned. I have albinism. This is me. Accept me for who I am. I am not going to change anytime soon. So you'll have to conform. The campaign saw a lot of women being very courageous, going out there, sending a lot of love to other women, and we were able to even attract an audience of men. Can you imagine? So this is a topic we thought it was only relating to women, but we had a very large turnout of men, and they were saying they go through the same things. You can imagine when we had an experience, a man came to me and told me a personal experience of his, that he lives in a family where men have this bodybuilding type, So, and he used to be slender, and he used to be mocked because he didn't look like everyone else. So you can imagine what that does to men. We live in a society where women are very vocal, but you can imagine also men go through the same things, but they don't have the voice. there are no spaces for them to speak about it. But the Perfect Body campaign gives them a platform where they can also share their experiences and hear from other people like them. So essentially creating a community of people going through the same problem and forging forward with a solution. We just don't sit down and complain about the situation we're in. We provide a solution for it.
Okay, that's very, very nice. It seemed like a woman's thing, yet men too suffer from that. I hope to get a man to also talk about it in future. Now, there are kids who really struggle with this body shaming thing. What advice would you give to their parents? I mean, how can they be of support to the children?
So Kalechi, we both know that the family is the basic unit of any society, and we get to define how our children look at themselves. So as a parent, you need to protect your child from media that pushes for an agenda that is hurting them. Right now we have social media, we have mainstream media, and some of the content that our children consume, the parents are not aware of that. We have Instagram. Kalechi, have you taken an instant to go and actually look at the feeds that your child goes through?
No.
If you have a child who's on Instagram, that's even a challenge to any parent who's going to be viewing this. Take your time, go through your children's social media, see what they are consuming, and essentially the things that child likes will dictate how that child would want to be like. So if your child likes women who are exposing their body, that's how they're going to be building themselves to look like. So one, protect your child. Censor whatever they are seeing, whatever they are listening to. The music that we have out there is promoting a certain standard that I feel is damaging. If we can have music videos where women are in underwear, shaking their buttocks in provocative ways, you can imagine what that does to a child. It essentially shows this child that this is how women should look like, this is how women should be behaving, so that men can like them. And you know, children want to feel loved, they want to feel valued. And as a parent, you need to give that to your child. Don't expect the world to tell your child that, Mommy or Baba, you're beautiful, you're handsome. You have to be there and enforce it to them every single day. You're perfect, not because the world is saying you are, but you're made, this is the perfect body that you have. Essentially, that should be the message. Censor what your children are watching, and you should be their number one advocate. Don't expect somebody out there to be telling them what you should be the one telling them.
And also charity begins at home. They should also be the first ones to be advocating for that body positivity right from the home. So do you feel that there are instances where like somebody will need counseling? There are cases that will need counseling to get over the toxicity, if there's such a word, of body shaming?
Kalechi, as a practicing psychologist, I can actually tell you that people underestimate the power of words. And a lot of people out here, children and adults alike, are traumatized and suffering from the side effects of body shaming. Because you can imagine some people get cyberbullied. You remember the incident of Kanzedena, right? You can imagine what that did to her. An entire nation coming at her, telling her she does not look good because she did the most natural thing.
Giving birth.
So I feel like counseling is something that we need to put into consideration. And before, I also feel like the remedial measure should come in, but we can also look at the preventive measures that we can put in place. I actually advocate for journaling. If you're working with a counselor or a psychologist, you can actually incorporate journaling with a child. Taking for an example, if you're talking about a child, you can give a child a journal, ask them to document their feelings regarding their body, and actually be there and be a part of how they are able to relate with themselves.
Keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah. You know I'm on